Vandami Bandi, and good evening, everyone. Good morning for everyone in West Hemisphere. Welcome to the lesson on 7 stages of purification. I'm Emma. I'm the meeting co-host who will be helping Bandi and everyone in today's session. May we invite Bandi to start teaching, and may we invite the interpreter Bandi to start the translation. Sādhu, Sādhu, Sādhu.
Before we start giving Dhamma talk, we will pay homage to the Buddha by reciting Namo Tassa 3 times. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Okay, we will start the prerequisites of meditation. Before we start meditating, we have to do some things, some extra things to motivate ourselves or to gladden our mind. That is why I just choose this topic as a basics of meditation, prerequisites of meditation. So the first things we have to know: review the danger in sensual desire, such as sensual desire give a little enjoyment, but more suffering. So we have to review this one frequently when we are going to meditate. So all the sensual beings spend their time with sensual pleasure. When we have this kind of thoughts, if we can review the danger in sensual desire, then we can meditate, get a little bit better. The Buddha also gives many simile about sensual pleasure. Yeah, I just give only one thing. Sensual desire gives little enjoyment, but more suffering. We can recall in our daily life, we have to spend very long time for earning money. If we spend all this money within a few hours, we can end up. Not only that, in our daily life, when we are cooking, it will take time, 1 hour or 2 hours, something like that. But when we are taking food or having lunch or breakfast, we will finish within 20 minutes, less than half an hour, maybe. So that means we have to spend more time to collect the material, the information, and many different things to enjoy sensual pleasure. But actual time of enjoyment is very short, very limited, and very little. That's when the Buddha said, sensual desire gives little enjoyment, more suffering. There are many other examples. It will take very long to explain. That's why today I will say only one thing, that one. Then we have the next one, arouse, longing for escape from sensual desire. If we know the danger in sensual desire, then we must long for the escape from sensual desire. Sometimes, although we know it's very risky and very dangerous, not that much convenient for us, but we are very difficult to give up. Although we know this is very bad, we cannot give up easily. For example, like smoking. We know that if we smoke, it will be very harmful for our body, our lungs, but we still smoking. Similarly, alcoholics also know the danger of alcohol, but they cannot stop drinking. So now if we know the danger, we must long for the escape from sensual desire. This is the way we must do before meditating. We must also know the danger in sensual desire. We must long for the escape from sensual desire. The next one is arouse, longing for renunciation that can make endless suffering. So actually renunciation is also given up. Okay, here we have two different things. Renunciation means we have to give up sensuality or the material things. We also have to give up sensual desire, the mental quality, the mentality that can take sensual objects. So if we can give up both sensual desire and sensual objects, we can say we have renunciation. If we cannot renounce these two, we cannot start meditating. So that means if we have a lot of attachment to many different things, if we have a lot of attachment to our attachments, sometimes we also have attachment to our defilements, right? So if we have a lot of attachment to material things and attachment to defilements, we cannot improve ourselves. That's why the next one, we have to arouse longing for renunciation that can make the end of suffering. We must believe that the renunciation can make an end of suffering. Then again, we have to know, next one, arousing the joy and happiness by recollecting special quality of the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. So we may have a different preference, different favorite objects. Some of them will like recollecting Buddha's quality. There will be 9 qualities. Among the 9, we will also have our favorite quality again. Among these 6 Dhamma's quality, there will be some favorite Dhamma quality. Similarly, Sangha's quality, we may have favorite Sangha's quality. We have to choose our favorite subjects that can produce joy and happiness. If we can see Buddha's image or Buddha's statues, we can try to visualize the Buddha statues and Buddha's picture. And we can start recollecting Buddha's quality, the one we like most. By doing so, we may have more joy, more happiness. It will make our mind flexible and soft. When our mind becomes very soft and flexible, then we can change our minds to, we can direct our mind to our meditation subjects, like Anapanasati or other subjects. That's why this one is also very important for meditator. Sometimes if we are very lazy, we cannot meditate, then we have to try ourselves to be happy, arousing joy and happiness by recollecting special Buddha's qualities, Dhamma's qualities, or Sangha's quality. Again, next one. Arouse the will by thinking that the Buddha, and Practical Buddha, the disciples of the Buddha, enter upon this path. Although we are practicing very simple meditation subjects, maybe Anapanasati, mindfulness of breathing, maybe 4 elements, maybe Asubha, maybe Metta, any subjects we practiced. Then we must know that that path is practiced by the Buddha. The Buddha himself used this method. And Buddha himself do the one, the Practical Buddha also practiced the same. Then the Buddha disciple also practiced the same method. So we have to know the value of the practice. It's very valuable. The Buddha himself practiced. So an ordinary people practice, then we can become extraordinary naturally by practicing the 3 trainings. So in brief, we must know the value of our practice. And the last one, arouse the eagerness by thinking that one can surely know the taste of bliss of the seclusion. Seclusion. In Pali, we call viveka. Solitude or seclusion, there will be 2 different translations. In any way, we may have many different seclusions or solitudes. For example, Kaya Viveka, living alone. If we can live alone, we have Kaya Viveka. Then Chitta Viveka, knowing one object. That means if we can know one meditation subject all the time, we have Chitta Viveka. When we have Chitta Viveka, we can feel peace. We can also experience the taste of the blessed. So we have to arouse the eagerness, thinking that the practice we are doing now can experience the taste of the bliss of seclusion. So here, seclusion is a very different level. Even living alone is also seclusion. Knowing one object, meditation is also seclusion. If we can attain some attainment, if we can achieve some higher attainment, then by entering into this higher attainment, we can also experience the bliss of seclusion. So we must have aim before we start practicing. But it doesn't mean we must think about aim or the goal too much. We must practice to achieve the goal or the aim we have. So these are the prerequisites of meditation as the foundations before we start meditating. If we have all these things, then we can start practicing. Okay, now we have to explain a little bit more thing about one of the prerequisites here. We must recollect special quality of the Buddha, Dhamma or Sangha. Among the daily practice, the Buddha also recommended his disciple to practice Buddhanusati, Asubha. So the Buddha also recommends to practice Buddhanusati, recollection of the Buddha, also Asubha, vipassana meditation, metta meditations. So we also have like a recollection of death. These four are essentials for meditation. So now, today I have to introduce the first part of Buddhanusati, the recollections of Buddha. When we are going to do recollection of the Buddha, we also have to understand the meaning of Buddha's quality. As a Buddhist, we all have known that in our daily chant, we also have Itipiso Bhagava Araham Samma Sambuddho Vichacharana Sampanno Sukado Lokavidu Anudoro Buddhisa Dhammasarati Sattha Deva Manusana Buddho Bhagava and so on. So here the main thing is, we also have to know the recollections of the Buddha. We also have to know the meaning of the Buddha's quality. So there are 9 qualities of the Buddha. The first one is Araham. Even in our opening, paying homage to the Buddha, opening salutation, we have Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Yes, Arahato, also Araham, the same meaning, but different inflections. Anyway, this is grammatical. But now we have to talk about the meaning. Arahant means the one who stands remote and far away from all defilements. So we had to be very far from defilements, but it will be different from the Buddha. The Buddha is very far from defilements. Not only far from defilements, he also eradicated all his habits and hobby. As ordinary meditator, although we can attain headship, we can attain all the defilements, we cannot eradicate the habits and the hobby. But the Buddha can eradicate all his habits and hobby Also, he could eradicate all defilements without remainder. That's why here we say, the Buddha is who stands remote and far away from all defilements. That is why he's called Arahant. The next one, who destroys his enemies, the defilements. So we have many different enemies. Internally, we have our defilements. Externally, there are many living things, non-living things, nature, many natural things. They can also make us disturbance. They can also disturb us. So here, we just talk about internal enemies. That is the defilements. The Lord has already destroyed the defilements. So as I have said before, he destroyed, including his habit and hobby, produced by the defilements. Maybe because of past lives habit. So for normal arhats, because of their past life habits, or because of long time habits in the past, when they attain headship, they're going to overcome habits and hobby. But the Buddha could overcome or eradicate or habit and hobby. Then the next one, the one who destroyed the spoke of Samsara, the 12 factors of dependent origination. We call Paticcasamuppada. So as you have known that there's a spoke on the wheel. Because of spoke, the wheel can run. If we break all the spoke of the wheel cannot run anymore. Similarly now, the Buddha has already destroyed the spoke of Samsara, the 12 factors of divine originations. The 12 factors are too much. Here we talk about the root of Samsara. That one is avijja, ignorance, and tanha, craving. These two are the roots of Samsara. With these two roots, we have to go around the Samsara. The first one, ignorance, cover the truth. Not knowing the truth, we may have attachment to it. It can be tanha, craving. So we're trying to know something, we cannot know, we have attachment, we find new things, new attachment. It becomes samsara. So not knowing is one of the causes of samsara, especially not knowing the truth or not understanding the truth. Not only that, covering the truth, uncovering the untruth, also called avijja. Then we have to discover the truth in order that we may be able to overcome attachments to it. If we come to know the truth, we may have less attachment. Okay, now the main thing is, among the dependent origination factors, we also have like defilements groups. For example, like avijja, this is also defilements. Tanha, craving, this is also defilements. We also have like grasping, upadana, or clinging. This is also defilements. When we have all these things, we may make actions, karma. We create many new karma, new activities, new actions. When all these karma ripen, then all this karma ripen, then it will produce the result. This is also samsara. We like something, we try for it, we get something. If we get, we wish to get more. Attachment again. We try more, we get more. After getting, we wish to get more again, more and more. This is also samsara. So the Buddha has already cut the defilements. The Buddha has already cut the karma, the actions of the power of karma, karmic force. The Buddha also had already cut the result of karma in the future existences. That's why it's called Arahant, the one who destroyed the spoke of samsara, the 12 factors of divine origination. Then, next one. Who is worthy of receiving the 4 requisites? So we people also receive the 4 requisites. The Buddha also receives 4 requisites. But we have different power. The Buddha can accept any donations from any living beings. He could also use whatever devotees offer him. As bhikkhu, ordinary bhikkhu like us, although we can accept many donations, we cannot use many of them. Sometimes we don't know how to use it. Okay, then the main thing is, the Buddha can use any of donations. The Buddha also can receive any of donations. I will give you one example. When the Buddha attained enlightenment, in the very day, in the full moon day of Vesak, then you have known the story, the lady Sujata of a rice grower. Many of divine beings infuse divine nutriment in that foods. If ordinary people eat it, he cannot digest. He will pass away on the spot. But Bodhisattva, he could eat it, he could digest it, he didn't die. He could attain arhatship at the very day before dawnrise. So there are many other cases like that. Even ordinary people cannot imagine that kind of things, but the Buddha can accept it. The Buddha can receive it. The Buddha also can enjoy it. Of course, as a Buddha, no attachment, no defilements, we cannot say enjoyment, right? But as ordinary people, we can say enjoy. So the main thing is, the Buddha is worthy of receiving any of 4 requisites, however valuable, however good products it may be, then he could use, he could receive. This is also his quality, Arahant. So who is the absence of secret evil doing? There will be many hypocrites. They will be very good in public, but they will do many evil things in their private, in the absence of people. The Buddha is the same, whether in the public or in private. Although he is in the private, he will never do any mistake or any evil things. That is the Buddha's quality, Arahant. In brief, here we have 5 meanings of Arahant. We can choose either one when we are going to practice Buddhanusati, the recollections of the Buddha. The next one is Sammasambuddha. So here we have some grammatical analysis. Sama, some, and Buddha. Sama means very well. Some means himself. Then without any teacher, without any guidance. Buddha means enlightened. That's why fully self-enlightened, we translate like that. But here, we should understand he got enlightened very well by himself, without any guidance. So the Buddha is who realized the Four Noble Truths with direct knowledge without being guided by any teacher. This is called Sambuddha. Actually, not only Four Noble Truths, there are many other things we have to know. So the Buddha also can know many other Dhammas. Here there are 5. The first one is Sankara Formation. This one is a very common Pali usage, Sankara. So we have many different meanings of Sankara. For example, Sankara Khanda. This is mental factors, Jitasika. We have Kaya Sankara, Chitta Sankara, Vaji Sankara. They have a different meaning. Vijapatya Sankara. At the time when we talk about Sankara, it's like a karma, the actions, good actions or bad actions. All these are Sankara. So here, when we talk about Sankara in this quality, it will be all the ultimate reality. They are called arising and perishing. This is called Sankara Formation. The Buddha also can know the Sankara, the formation, by his direct knowledge. Now, Vikara, change or origination. Here I just used the direct English translation, but in real meaning of Vikara is not that simple. So when we study Abhidhamma, actually you have already studied that part, the chapter of materiality. When we talk about materiality, we have to know one of the rupas, Kaya Vinyati, bodily intimation. This is also called Vikara. Another one is Vati Vinyati, Bhava intimation. This is also called Vikara. So the main thing is here, the Buddha also could understand the body language according to modern usage. According to body usage, we can say Kaya Vikara, body intimation, Vaji Vikara, Bhava intimation. The Buddha also can know people's desire, seeing their behavior, their gestures. Also, the Buddha also could understand their inner desire according to their vocabulary they use, the tone they use, and their conversation. This is called Vikara. The Buddha also can know people's minds through their behavior, the way they speak, the way they act. Then next one is Lakkhana. This is a characteristics. You know already characteristics is very simple, right? We have to know the nature of ultimate reality. This is called characteristics. So characteristics is very simple. In every single ultimate reality, like a Chitta, every single Jirsikas, there is a Lakkhana means the characteristics. So we have to know the characteristics of ultimate reality. Then again, Nibbana. I don't really explain Nibbana, right? Everybody know that is our aim, our goal, our ambition. So if we have to achieve, if we can achieve Nibbana, this is our last ambition, last goal, right? This is the last one, the last thing we expect. So this is also end of suffering. We also can know Nibbana. Sorry. What happened? Okay, Panyati, concept. So concept is also very simple things. In our daily life, we are using concept. For example, we have name. This is a name concept. We have many material things, all are thing concept. Everything have their own name. So we have to use in our daily life, name concepts or thing concepts. For example, like if we talk about a house is the name, just vocabulary. But the material house is the material things. So we can see the house, we can touch the house, This is the real, this is the things concept. The Buddha also can know any kinds of concept. That's why when he talk about living things, when he explains some discourses to special people, for example, like for a farmer, the Buddha will give simile of farming. For the kids, the Buddha will use easier example. The Buddha can use many different examples, similes to explain to many different people because he was expert in the concept. So he just know all these things by himself without teacher. That's why it's called Sama Sambuddho. Then again, we have to go the next one. Vijayacharana Sampanno. So this Vijayacharana Sampanno is also very big and heavy topic for learners. When we are going to learn Buddha's quality, this one is very heavy because many things to know in this part. For example, here Vijaya, which is knowledge. We have many different levels of knowledge, many different degrees of knowledge. Now here, Charana is called contact. We have many different types of contact, many different levels of contact. We also have to know all these things to recall this quality. So there are 8 types of knowledge and 15 types of contact to be explained in this part. So 8 types of knowledge is also a lot, right? Similarly, 15 types of contacts, this is also a lot. But we also have to know the summary of all these things. The inside knowledge, and monomayeti, and 6 supranormal power are groups as knowledge. I have said 8 knowledge, right? So inside knowledge, we call vipassana. This is one of the knowledge. The monomayeti is mind-made body. This is also one of the knowledge. Then we have 6 supranormal powers. Altogether 8. These 8 are called Vijja. So I have to elaborate again. 80 Vijja, psychic power. This is also special power. Like you may have read many stories about the Buddha. The Buddha dived into the water, flying on the sky, walking on the sky, and giving Dhamma talk in the sky, something like that. All these are called Iti Vijja. Although it was very far, the Buddha can go there with a few steps. This is also psychic power. We call Iti Vijja. Then again, Dipa Chakku, divine eye. This is also one of the psychic power, special supernormal power. With this supernormal power, the Buddha could see very far. Although there were many mountains in between the visible object in his eyes, he can penetrate, he can break through all the mountains, rocks, walls, or anything. He could see the object to be seen. This is the Buddha's power. Nobody can block the Buddha's vision. This is special psychic power of the Buddha. Then Dipa Sota, divine ear. Even very subtle sound, the Buddha could hear. Although it's very far from his ear. It's very subtle, very fine sounds, very soft sounds, but the Buddha could hear, if he wish. This is the divine ear, Dipa Sota. This is also psychic power. Then again, Parajita Vichanana, reading other people's minds. Here I just say other people's minds. Actually, you could also read divine being's mind. You could also read Brahma's mind. So prana means other people or other living beings. Citta means the mind. Vijnana means knowing. You can know people's minds or living beings' minds. This is also supernormal power. The next one is Buddhanusati, recollection of past lives. The Buddha also could know his past lives, many past lives. The Buddha also could know other living beings' past lives. It can be very far. Maybe many years ago, many eons ago, he could read, he could recall all these things by his psychic power. Then we have next one, asavakaya, destructions of taint. So the one is very simple. We have 4 types of asava, kama asava. We also say mental intoxicants. Right? This is a kind of sensual pleasure. Now, there's a bhavasava, attachment to the life, ditthasava, attachment to our view, our ideas, our theory. Then we also have ovijja asava. This also we have ignorance. All these are called asava, mental intoxicants, or taints or cankers. The Buddha can destroy all these things, as we have explained in defilements. This is also one of his attainments. These are called chala binya. When you read many suttas, you may know some bhikkhus have attained chala binya arahat, some bhikkhus are devijapata arahat, and so forth. If one of the Buddha disciples attain these 6, he is called chala binya arahat. Then again, we have to move to the next one, vipassana insight. We have many different stages of vipassana. Later, we have to explain all these stages. Manomayeti, mind-made body. The Buddha can create another body inside his body, or many bodies like this. And this is called mind-made body, manomayeti. These 8 are called vijja, knowledges. The Buddha is endowed with these 8 knowledges. Then again, contacts. So I have said there are 15 contacts Buddha has already achieved. Then we have to know the first one, morality. This one's very easy, right? We have explained last week. Training our body, bodily actions, and bhava actions. This is called morality. We must have good behavior, proper speech. This is called morality. Guarding 6 doors. We have eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and minds. We have to guard all these 6 doors in order that we may not be influenced by attachments or hatreds. Whatever thing we see, if we like, our mind will be influenced by attachment or craving. If we dislike, our mind will be influenced by, or maybe like to start by, hatred or anger. Similarly, we can also train all other sense doors in order that we may not be influenced by hatred or anger or craving. Moderating in foods. When we are accepting foods and when we are partaking or eating foods, we must have this kind of things, moderating in foods. If we accept, we must accept only the amount we can consume. Sometimes when we are accepting foods, there are many donors, although we say no, they still offer it. We cannot reject easily. Then when we are eating, we must moderate in foods. That means we must eat only the proper amount we can consume. Or sometimes we have to think about suitable or unsuitable. We must eat only suitable foods. We must not eat unsuitable foods. This is also important for our practice. That's why it's also called charana, contact. Then wakefulness. Yes, the Buddha is very wakeful. He will not sleep. He will enter into full attainment lying down. We can say like only Bhavanga mind states, no other pure Bhavanga, no other like a drowsiness or anything. The Buddha will rest very short. This is also one of his quality. Then again, we have confidence. In Pali, Saddha. We can also say believe. Believe in karma, believe in karma ownership, believe in past, present, future, believe in our own three trainings, our own ability. This is called confidence. Then energy. We can also say bodily energy and mental energy. If we are using properly, this is called samavayama, right efforts. The Buddha always use right efforts. That is why we can say he is an energetic person. Then mindfulness. Mindfulness always needed. Wherever we are, whenever the conditions we have, we should have mindfulness. This is also essential for all the meditators. The moral shame. That's why it's moral direct. These two factors are also very important. These are also the primary cause of morality. If we don't have these two, we're going to be immoral. So another thing is that if we have self-respect, then we respect ourselves, we may have moral shame. If we respect other people, we may have moral dread. These two factors are very important for morality. If we don't have these two, we all human beings will be like animal. No more respect, no more fear, no more moral. Then 10, knowledge. Here we just talk about Dhamma knowledge or learning knowledge. If we can learn Buddha's teaching, 1 collections or 2 collections, 3 collections, 4 collections, or 5 collections, this is called knowledge. So if we can know many things, we got to choose the right things. Even in modern community, if we read many books, then we become more mature. Similar in Buddha's teaching, if we can know many of Buddha's texts, then we can correct ourselves more. Then wisdom. So wisdom is actually similar to previous one. Vijja is like a knowledge. This means like a meditation knowledge. So here when we talk about wisdom, it's like an inside knowledge. Knowing nama rupas, knowing the cause and effect relationship, understand as anicca dukkha anatta, all these things can be considered as a wisdom. The last one is 4 jhanas. So actually 12, 13, 14, 15, all these are jhanas. That's why I will not list out first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, right? 4 jhanas. Jhanas are also called charana, contact. Buddha has already achieved all these things. That's why he's called Vijjayana Sampanno. Then we also have to go the next quality. This is Sukado. In many of books, it will be translated as well spoken or well going or something like that. Here I will explain different meanings of Sukhato. The first one is Sobana Gata. It changed to Sukhata. Sobana Gata means the manner of going is purified and blameless. So here it just means the manner of going to Nibbana. Not normal going. It just not deportment. It's just the path he was going. So the manner of going to Nibbana is also purified, blameless. That's why it's called Sobana Gata. And the next one is Sundara Gata, going to the excellent place. This is Shri Nibbana. Buddha has gone to the excellent place, Nibbana. That's why it's called Sundara Gata. There's nothing superior to Nibbana. There are many other explanations for many other things that many different traditions may say, oh, this one is better than Nibbana. This one is superior to Nibbana. But in reality, there's nothing superior to Nibbana. Then the next one, Samakata, where going without coming back to defilements. So that means he just go to Nibbana without coming back to defilements. So from time to time, we may trying to cut something, try to do something. I will not do the same mistake, but we may do again and again. We cannot totally cut or eradicate as the Buddha. But here the Buddha will go to Nibbana without coming back to defilements. So we can say without any attachment to his families, friends, material wealth, or many other things. Then the last one, Samakata, well spoken. So here, well spoken means we may have many different types of speech in our daily life, but the Buddha is different from ordinary people. If it's the truth and beneficial for the listeners, sometimes it will be undesirable for the listeners. Of course, we have known that not all the good news, true things are desirable. Sometimes it's beneficial, truth, but it's not desirable. It's undesirable for some other listeners. It's not pleasing to them. If it's undesirable or unpleasant to the listeners, the Buddha will speak timely. The Buddha knows the time to speak out. This is also one of the ways the Buddha uses. Another one is the truth, beneficial. Also, it's also desirable, pleasant to the listeners. The Buddha will speak timely. So, this is called Samakata, well spoken. So these are the Buddha's quality we can learn in Pali Canon. So when we are going to do Buddhanusati, we have to see one of the Buddha statues or Buddha's picture with our eyes open. If we can observe on the objects, on the Buddha statues or Buddha's picture, we can close our eyes and visualize the Buddha's image or statues. Then we can start recollecting Buddha's quality. Like for example, Arahant, the one who is far from defilements, who is still remote and far away from defilements. we can recall it, one quality, many times, and we can feel peace and happiness. Then if we can do one quality, we can also change another quality, or maybe the same quality, different meanings, different definitions. So although we say very simply, for example, like a defilement, we have 10 defilements. Lobha, for example. When we have very strong lobha, we can visualize Buddha's statues, the Buddha's image, then just trying to recollect the one who is very far away from lobha, greed. We can recall it again and again to overcome lobha, greed, or attachment. Similarly, if we have a lot of dosa, hatred, or anger, we can do the same. Trying to visualize Buddha's pictures or Buddha's statues, trying to recall it. The Arahant, the one who is far from dosa, who is free from dosa, who destroying dosa, we can recall it anyway we like. Then we can overcome dosa. Similarly, if we have a lot of mana, pride, or conceit, or arrogance, we can try to recall it Buddha's quality. Arahant, the ones who is very far from mana, pride, or arrogance, the one who's already break down, destroys all these mana, arrogance, conceit, or pride, we can recall it. So although we have 5 minutes of Arahant, if we analyze more and more, there will be many different qualities. So you can imagine we have 1,500 defilements. Then, sure, we can elaborate very wide. So if we can recall as Buddha's quality like this, then we can also feel happiness. We can also subside the defilements. Now we have one more thing here. Our body is like a shrine room. To offer a shrine room or to offer a Buddha statues, it will be expensive. Even in Myanmar, if we wish to have good quality, it will be expensive. Myanmar is a Buddhist country. We can get Buddha statues in many different shops. If we wish to get better quality, it will be very expensive. Not easy for everybody. It will cost money. But when we are going to do Buddhanusati, Recollection Buddha's quality, we cost nothing. But we gain rich. We can get a lot of profits. So if we build a pagoda, we need a big land. We need brick, cement, workers, irons, engineers. We have to organize many things. If we're trying to build a shrine rooms or pagoda in our hearts, we cost nothing. We don't need any workers to help us. So if we can do Buddhanusatis, our body becomes shrine room. Our heart is also shrine room. That's why we have traditional saying in Myanmar, just build pagoda in your hearts. So we must keep Buddha's quality in our hearts by recollecting Buddha's quality. It will be very helpful for our practice. Then again, if we can do Buddhanusati, what will be the benefits? What kind of thing can we achieve? Buddhanusati is like an ultimate reality. By recollecting Buddha's quality, we cannot attain jhana, but we can attain asset concentration. Based on asset concentration, we can also proceed practicing vipassana. If we can practice vipassana, we can also attain path and fruition knowledge. That's why it can be the foundations of vipassana. It also can be prerequisites of meditation. We can use Buddhanusati in many different ways. It will be helpful for all the meditators. We can also have more devotion to the Buddha, more respect to the Buddha. The more we know Buddha's quality, the Buddha's value, the more we respect him. So, in brief, for today, among the prerequisites, I've already talked about Buddhanusatis. Next week, I'm going to use Buddha's quality again, because today we have finished only up to 4 qualities. There will be 5 more qualities for next week. So, may you all be able to practice the 3 trainings as guided by the Buddha. As a result of the 3 training, practicing the 3 trainings, may you all be able to realize the final sensations, the end of suffering, Nibbana. Sādhu, Sādhu, Sādhu.
Thank you, Bendy. Sādhu, Sādhu, Sādhu.
Yes, Sādhu, this is the first question. The question is by practicing metta, the meditator can see the beings that he sent metta, and also by Dipa Chaku, he also can see the beings, whether these beings is reborn to the Wufu state or the Sukati. He would like to know this being that these meditators see, is it a real being or is it an visualization or imagination?
It depends on their concentration quality. If they have very strong concentration, it can be real living beings, especially the light. If the light always time become very bright, you could see all the living beings easily, it can be real. But if they cannot have that kind of very bright light, it can be only imaginations or only visualization. Okay?
Second question, Sādhu. Let's say one person who is very famous in the past life, someone who is very famous in the past life, his Nama Rupa already perished. Then in this present life, he has being reborn in the hell, also Nama Rupa. So his question is, why is that in the present life, is he still maintain his past life gesture or appearance even though he's in the hell?
Appearance mean like a good appearance or bad appearance?
Yeah, his outlook, his face or his outlook is still like what he had before in past life. Even though he is in the hell, but because past life he is a famous person, so now because of karma he has been reborn in the hell. But the appearance, the face outlook is still like past life. Why is that so? This is the question.
Okay, this is karma. So that means our appearance is according to our wish and our own karma, right? So karmacha rupas, karma brutal materialities, right? So the main thing is, we have many different brutal and causes of life, right? So we have like avijja, dana, upadana, sankara, karma. So first we have to talk about dana. So he has attachment to that kind of face, that kind of appearance. This is one of the things. Then if we attachment, sure, there will be ignorance. Unreality are real. Right? There will be grasping, clinging, upadana. This is also the cause of the life, new life. Then these are only producing cause of karma, the actions. Karma will produce life. So the main thing is, he has accumulated the karma, especially ahosan karma, accompanied by attachment to the appearance, also that means grasping, like clinging to the appearance, also ignorance with this appearance. Then the karma produces new life, then his face will be the same as before. Okay?
Sādhu, third question they would like to ask about Awasa Paribodha. Sādhu explained that Awasa Paribodha related to monastery. So basically, what are the monastery and what are the monasteries suitable and what are not? Basically, for example, in Myanmar, there are now this pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic, also have political instability. So in this type of condition, but we still have very good Kammatthana teacher. So how to decide this Awasa Paribodha, which monastery is suitable to stay?
Okay, so that means if political issues are not very stable, everybody has to suffer, right? Now we have to think about that one. Okay, that one is, one thing. That one is like, we have some special conditions, 5 conditions we cannot meditate well. One of the things is like a political situation is not very good. This is one of the things. A lot of conflicts, a lot of the problems in the community. This is actually one of the issues. If we have that kind of things, it's not very good time to meditate. This is the one thing, right? Okay, what about suitable monasteries? Actually, we have some limitation about it. The first one is not very far from the village. This is the one thing. Not very close to the village. This is the one thing. 2 different things here, right? Another one is like it must not be very messy with many insects, mice, mosquitoes, and a lot of disturbance in the monastery. This is the one thing. Then, the most important thing is Kalyana Mita. Like property, as you say, like a good teachers in Myanmar like this. This is also very important. Although we have many other difficulty, if we have good teachers, anyways, we can discuss at the least. This is the one thing. So another thing is that as I have said before, not very busy monastery. So if we have a lot of activities in the monastery, for example, like we have every week we have activities, for example, right? For example, like tomorrow, yesterday we have a Upa study, right? Every Upa study we have activities. Many people will come, big gathering, big offering, big ceremony. It will make people busy. Cannot meditate well. So we must have many activities in the monastery. This is one of the problems. This is not. If we have a lot of activities in the monastery, it's not suitable. Okay, briefly, suitable monastery is not very far from the village, not very close to the village, then also not many other disturbance. Also, another one is like we must easy to get 4 requisites. This is one of the quality of monastery. The last one is like a Kalyana Mita, like as you say, good teacher. When we have all these situations, we say this is a good monastery.
Well, let me see, Sādhu. Another question is for Sotapanna. Sorry. Okay, sorry. This is the question number 4. For Venerable Mahamoggallana, after at the last, when his body was being beaten until all his bone is cracked, he can use his abhinya to protect his body, to make up his body in order to see the Buddha. So the question is, some teachers say Venerable Mahamoggallana used Ayu Sankara Parasamapatti to maintain his body. So his question is, which method that Mahamoggallana used, Abhinya or Ayu Sankara Parasamapatti, or both?
Okay, so that means before he released Ayu Sankara, we can say this is Ayu Sankara Parasamapatti. But actually, to be healthy, he just used his psychic power. For about Entitled Nibbana, he must release Ayu Sankara. This is the one case. To be healthy, this is it. He has used his psychic power, okay, to sustain his body. to go and see the Buddha. We can say two different things, okay? He used two different things in two different situations.
So the next question about Sotapanna. Sotapanna will not make any karma that will let him go into the Dukkati, forward state, but they are Sotapanna still have Lobha, Dosa, and Moha, and that means Sotapanna still will accumulate akusala karma. So about this akusala karma that the Sotapanna make, but will not lead him to Dukkati, is there any reference from the Tipitaka or Atthakatha about it? Means what type of what type of karma that the Sotapanna did in concrete that even though it's akusala but will not drop into Dukkati?
You know, Ratana Sutta, Chatu Abhagi, Wipa Modo, Chacha Vitanani, Ababa Gado, this one. Right? Even in Ratana Sutta, we have this source. Okay, so if you can go and read Ratana Sutta and its commentary, it will be clear. We have source, sure. Okay.
Now, Sādhu, about Anapanasati, when someone practice Anapanasati until Apana Jhana, in Apana Jhana, the 5 sense door, eye, ear, and so on, these 5 sense doors are closed. So if someone enter into first jhana, but he still can hear sound, does that mean that he already emerged from jhana, no more apana jhana? And also second question, in fourth jhana, there won't be any breath, no more breathing. So what is the mechanism to stop? Why the breathing has stopped?
This is, you know, the power of meditation. We're going to imagine why. Okay. So for about the first one, if we can hear something during entering jhana, that means when we hear, we are not in jhana. But if we cannot hear, we are in jhana. His mind is alternating two different things. One is audible objects, the sounds. Another one is nimitta. That's why entering into jhana, the emerging from the jhana, alternatively, right? Like this. For about like breathing, we cannot imagine why it's happening like that. Right? There are many things we cannot say science. We cannot say according to the science. Even science cannot say many things also, right? Okay, in this case, I cannot answer why. But there are some other, I don't remember who wrote this article. I read a few years ago. There are many other, he also made many sources. I don't understand clearly. Anyway, the main thing is, we cannot know why we stop breathing. Okay, but anyway, this is by the power of meditation, by the power of concentration. We cannot imagine. Okay.
In someone who practiced in the monastery a long time by using Anapanasati for many years, but he still cannot see nimitta. What is the cause? Without nimitta is actually Chittaja Rupa, and the light, the color of Chittaja Rupa. So if this is a Chittaja Rupa, a meditator who cannot see nimitta, does that mean that his Chittaja Rupa is always dim, always dark in color?
Okay, so in this case, we have many other things to say, not only Chittaja Rupas, right? The main thing is our minds. So actually, I have to say later about the Anapanasati. Anyway, now I have to introduce some parts. So we have to do many other things before we start meditating. The first thing is nimitta. If we expect nimitta too much, we're going to see it. This is a kind of greed. Another is disappointing ourselves. Sometimes we cannot satisfy with our current conditions, then we may get angry. This is also one of the problems with meditators. So don't complain ourselves. Also, don't expect too much. These two are the problem. So if we can overcome these two, then we can overcome some other problem already. Now, one more thing here. Now, that one is, if we can focus on the natural objects, that means natural breathing, we can be successful. There are many meditators, they don't know how to be natural. If we don't know how to be natural, we cannot improve. That's why we must know how to be natural. We must know what is the natural breath. We must know how to focus on it naturally without making excessive efforts. So there are many things to explain in Anapanasati to see the nimitta. Okay, the main thing is be natural, don't expect, don't complain. Also, we have a special case. That one is don't make very strong efforts. Save your energy. If you can do all these things, you can be successful.
Sādhu, this question regarding 40 door in Vipassana practice. In 40 door, in the Vipassana group, there are 10. So number 8 is a Vibhava door. So this Vibhava door explanation is Vibhava door means this Nama Rupa is there is no Vibhava door means no extension, no growth, no increment, and it's always perish away. Because of that, there are nothing, annihilation, there's nothing. So this is Vibhavato. But also one explanation, it put as Vibhava Tanha and Vibhava Ditti, the absence of Vibhava Tanha and Vibhava Ditti. So he would like to know what is Vibhava Tanha and Vibhava Ditti in this context of Vibhavato.
Actually, Vibhava Tanha is a kind of wrong view. Associated with the wrong view. Vibhava Ditti also associated with the wrong view. Right? Vibhava Tanha means like there's no more future existence. This is called Vibhava Tanha. We may have touched with that kind of view. This is called Vibhava Tanha. So for about Vibhava door, okay, here actually I have to explain that one Vibhava door. But I also have my own notes about it. I also have to read many texts about that polito. You know, unfortunately, I don't have in English. Right? I have Yama notes. Okay, yeah, I have to give one simile. Sometimes, you know, when the father passed away, but there's a baby was born by mother. Okay, this is it. The simile. The similarly now, so there's a avijja, tanha, uparana, sankara, gamma. These are father. They have already passed away. Maybe many hours ago or many lives ago. Right? After aberration, process like that. There's a aggregate. Rupa Kana, Vinakana, we have 5 aggregates, right? So 5 aggregates will perish, or arise and perish. That's why this is called Vibhava door. Cause already passed. This is called Vibhava, right? Vibhava means no more. The cause has already gone. Then the effect comes. The effect also has gone. Vibhava again. That's why we call Vibhava door. Okay? So here we have to understand 2 different things. One is that the cause also Vibhava. The effect also Vibhava. That's why Vibhava door. Okay, we can understand Vibhava door like that. We can also like Vibhava Tanha is a Vibhava door, Vibhava Ditti is a Vibhava door. We can say like that. Our minds are free from Vibhava Tanha and Vibhava Ditti. Right? Man must be free from these 2. So we don't have any relationship with Vibhava Tanha, Vibhava Ditti, Vibhava Tanha. Okay? Yeah?
Sādhu, according to the Abhidhamma Sangaha, there is this explanations about Maranasana Javana. In Maranasana Javana, the Panchadwara Viti can be the Maranasana Javana. One of the Panchadwara Viti can be the Maranasana Javana. And it doesn't need this Tatanuvattaka Mano Dwara Viti. Only pure Panchadwara Viti, it can become the Maranasana Javana. This is according to Abhidhamma Sangaha. So his question is whether Panchadwara Viti can really become the Maranasana Javana in order to give rise to next life Patisandhi?
Actually, it can be any mental process. Okay, so that means, for example, like if we see the sounds, or if we hear the sounds, it will give me the sound will be the object, right? It can be Pandaraviti. If we can see, sometimes when we are dying, we cannot see anything, we cannot hear anything, like unconscious, some unconscious like that, then it can be only pure mind or mental process. Okay? Any of mental process can be Maranasana Viti. Okay?
Okay. So next question.
Yeah, one more thing here, right? In the actually, I think there's some misunderstanding in this part. Okay, here we have one Pali passage in the Vitamana Sangha, right? For example, Kama Vachara Parisandiya Cha Dwara Gahitan Kama Nimitan Gati Nimitan Kama Nimitan Gati Nimitan Cha Pajobana Marida Ramana Ubalabati. We have this kind of statements, right? So actually, there can be many other. Pechobana Ramanesu, Abada Gadesu, Tarande Seva Marana Hodi. This is the one thing. That's why, because of this one, they misunderstand it. Right? So, Manasana, where when the process can be only Pechobana Ramana. Right? Kamambana Adita Mewa. Yeah, one more thing here. Kama Nimita, Gati Nimita, right? Kama Nimita and Gati Nimita can be Pechobana. Then karma is adita, past. So that means if we say karma nimitta is the past, karma nimitta can be pachoban or the past or present, either one. So that's why if we talk about past objects, it must be Manodharaviti. If only present, it can be maybe phyto, or it also can be mindo, either ones. Okay?
Let me see, another question is regarding dosa charita. People with dosa charita, he's very easy to get angry and also very pessimist. And he think that for a person who is very optimist, very easily to get happy, his bhavanga should be somanasa sagata. So is it true that all those persons with somanasa sagata padisandhi or bhavanga, they are always optimistic, a person of optimistic, and how to become a person who is more optimistic?
Maybe it can be, maybe there are many other supporting karma, like upatamaka karma, right? Upakataka karma, upapilika karma. If there's some upapilika karma of wholesome minds, then there can be pessimists. For example, like once he's offering with anger, with hatred or jealousy, he may offer, right? And we have this kind of things. When that karma approaches life, he can be a human being. But it was accompanied by unwholesome minds like a jealousy, hatred, anger, then that one can be one of the upatamaka karma or upakaraka, upapilaka, like that. Okay?
This questioner, he have heard that from one teacher. He says someone in the past who has offered the Buddha's flower. Because of this karma, this person can be reborn as Chakravarti king for many lives. So is this a single cause and a single effect? A theory of single cause and single effect? This person thinks that there must be, to become a Chakravarti, there must be many kusala action in order to get this result, and not only one single cause of offering the Buddha flower.
Okay, so actually, we also have to understand many other things. When we offer, we cannot know how is his mind. For example, you may have read many stories, after offering one flower to the Buddha, he was very happy, he cannot eat, he cannot sleep, very active, although he cannot sleep, he cannot eat, right? Very active for maybe a few days, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, sometimes 7 days, like that. So that's why we cannot know his mind at the time. If we have very strong, we can say aparajana. Aparajana means rejoice after offering. It can be the same cause. It can affect, it can produce many life. We have, but we can like Jita Dhamma Viriniya Kama, Aparapriya, Upabaja Viriniya Kama, like that, right? It can be in many lives. So it depends on how is his mind at that time. Okay?
So, Sādhu, this is a question regarding the previous lecture notes in the previous class.
I see. Oh, yeah,
Yes.
I have received that one. Okay, then? Okay, what
Okay.
question?
Yeah, the question is actually, the correction is it correct? I had to Kusala in lifetime, the second row, 3-rooted.
Yeah.
Kusala Vipaka
True,
should
yes.
be Tihetuka, right?
No,
And then,
this is Kusala Vipaka must be Ahetuka. Ahetuka Kusala Vipaka. For example, like eye consciousness, ear consciousness can be Kusala Vipaka. This is Ahetuka Chitta, right? It refer to that one. Okay, then Mahavipaka is Trihetuka, right? So if we say Mahavipaka can be only 3 roots or 2 roots. It can be either one. Okay?
Good evening, Bante. This is Baekhoon. At this afternoon, I attend a Dhamma talk for Sivali Parita. And from the talk, I learned to know that before this venerable Sivali born, he actually stayed in her mother's stomach for 7 years and 7 days. From the Dhamma perspective or the modern life perspective currently, how can we understand this situation that a baby stays in the mother's stomach for 7 years and 7 days, then only born? Thank you.
Okay. For Dhamma prospects, actually we have one of the Buddhas saying, this is because of his past karma. Past karma means because he was a king, he tried to invade one country. The country was blocked. Like they defense very well. They cannot attack easily, but he's surrounded all the country. He blocked all the way to enter the palace. Then all the people inside the palace are hungry and also fighting each other. A lot of problem. Then also because his mother also encouraged his son to do that kind of things, to block all the way to enter the palace. So all the people are hungry, and a lot of problem in that country. After 7 years, he will get that country. Okay, that means because this karma, he has to live in mother's womb for 7 years. This is one of the answer according to Dhamma perspective. What about modern science? I don't know how to say that one. Okay.
Sādhu, Bande. Thank you very much for your teachings today, and thank you our interpreter Bande for the translation. May we invite Bande to lead us in making aspirations and sharing of merits.
Yeta wadaja amehi sambadam punya sambadam sabbe deva numodandu sabbe buddha numodandu sabbe sada numodandu sabba sampati siriya idam me nyadinam hodu sukhita hondu nyadeyo idam me nyadinam hodu sukhita hondu nyadeyo idam me nyadinam hodu sukhita hondu nyadeyo Idame Bunyam Asawakaya Waham Hodu Idame Bunyam Nibanasa Pacheo Hodu Mama Bunya Bagam Sabasadanam Bhajemi Te Sabe Me Samam Bunya Bagam Labandu Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu.
Thank you, Bendy, and everyone for your time and participation. Till we meet on next Saturday, may all be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.